somebody asking if it would help. I'm not going to point them out, but I don't want you guys to know how to get me. They said, we have relatives who are feeling driven to organize. Can you assist in any way? And I have to say that the passion has really crafted this. The support that we've given is just very minimal, just from our expertise over decades of combined organizing. But We Are the People, Aunties and Uncle, really are the drivers for this gathering and really deserve a lot of credit. So thank you. In our history, if you know anything about Alaska Native history and the things that we've gone through over the last few hundred years of working with this government, it's been tumultuous, to say the least. We won't go through a whole history lesson. But I think that this is probably one of the most dire situations that we've seen in a very long time. And Susan asked me if it was appropriate to have this kind of a meeting in a church. And I thought about it for a minute, and I remembered a story an elder told me from the folks in the Aleutian Islands, the Unangan people. And what they told me was that the Russian Orthodox Church was already there, and then the American army had moved in. And if you don't know, basically the American army had the Unangan people as economic slaves to harvest fur seals, and the fur and the oil went to the U.S. Army for use. And they were actually enslaved until the late 1960s. And in bureaucracy and paperwork, they were still enslaved until the 1980s. And that's how we ended up with a lot of Unangan people in Southeast Alaska, because during World War II, they put them in concentration camps in old fish canneries in Southeast Alaska. And our fishermen, one of them being my grandfather, Johnny, when they found out that there were Unangan people locked away in these fish camps without food and medicine, they started organizing, bringing them fish and blankets and medicine. And so when they were finally able to escape or let go from those concentration camps, many of them stayed in Southeast Alaska and didn't go back. But what happened, the elder was telling me, that in particular to church basements, is that they were allowed to have private worship services in the Russian Orthodox Church in the basement without any oversight or any military personnel listening or watching over them. So they used that time to organize. They used that time to speak freely. And so there's, like I said, very complex relationship with these different systems. But I reflected to Susan, I said, you know what, Susan? I think this is the perfect place to have a meeting and have this kind of discussion. So thank you all for coming here and being with us today.